In his final moments, George Floyd called out for his mother, who had passed away shortly before his own untimely death. However, there was a father figure in Floyd's life, someone who stepped in to fill the void missing from his father. And that man was Selwyn Jones, who George Floyd affectionately called Unc. He joins me now from here in Minneapolis this morning. Good morning, Selwyn. Thank you so much for joining me.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you taking the time. I know that you have actually been inside the courtroom each day for this trial so far. Not the courtroom, but the courthouse. There's a family room, right, where a lot of you guys are watching the trial together. What has it been like so far?
You know, we're just sitting back waiting. You know, this is an obvious waiting game. Hopefully, the judicial system does what it's supposed to do, and that is to convict and punish people that have committed crimes.
What has stood out to you the most so far from the testimony that you've been watching in the trial?
Courtney's testimony was pretty powerful. I just see it going the way that it should go. I see it going the way that would possibly, hopefully, will be favorable for us and our family. I just want justice to prevail, you know, and I'm old school, you know. I'm not going to put the cart before the horse. I will just wait and make sure everything is deliberated and settled, and hopefully we'll get the outcome that we want.
And I know that you guys, like Angela told me, you are taking turns on who actually is able to sit in that one seat inside the courtroom. And you haven't quite had that opportunity. Do you even want to go and sit in the courtroom and watch testimony?
No, no. Dear, my heart is broken. And every time I see a video, my heart breaks even more. It breaks for our family, it breaks for George, it breaks for my sister. It breaks for anybody that has 1 ounce of our blood in their blood system, you know? So I'm okay with being in the family room because I don't know or don't think I can actually handle sitting beside somebody that I know that took the life of one of my favorite people. I don't know if I can sit in the courtroom and just be calm enough to handle the situation, knowing that there's a guy that is sitting feet from me that literally made my nephew disappear, made his life insignificant, made him not be among the living again because of power and control.
I can't imagine what you guys are going through. And I know that you told me about the first time that you actually saw the video. I want you to tell everyone now how that affected you, what you thought, and how you learned that it was your nephew.
You know, 7 o'clock in the morning, the day after, I wake up, you know, and I do the same thing every morning. You know, I got a little routine, get the babies, you know, set for school. And the video comes on, and I'm from a little town in North Carolina where I see racism, power, and control, seen it my whole life. You know, and every time I see a young man or a young lady that's being affected by police brutality, you know, on television, it just totally bothers me because that's how we grew up. And I focus on television, and for, I don't know, I figure 2 minutes I'm looking and I'm going, oh my God, why are they doing this to this dude, man? Won't somebody help him? Why don't this dude stop? Then I realized that whoever this guy was, he was not going to leave until he was dead. Then my sister calls me, and well, I sit back and my heart just basically got ripped out of my chest because I seen somebody that I have been loving, that I've been communicating with, that I've been talking with, that I've been laughing with, that I've been smiling with his whole life. And I sat back just like everybody else in the world and waited for him to die. And it is absolutely a feeling that nobody needs or wish to feel anymore. Therefore, as of May the 26th, I call it D-Day. You know, we remember when the space shuttle blew up. We remember 9/11, and you'll never forget the day that George Floyd passed away, because it changed a lot of things for a lot of people. It actually changed the whole world. It's given us an opportunity to make a change. It's given us an opportunity for people to open their eyes and look and say, there is systemic racism. There is racism. There is power and control issues with individuals. So yeah, dear, it was, like I said, I saw the same thing that you saw. And if you did not think that he was not going to leave there after about 30 or 40 seconds, you were watching something that I wasn't watching. And it tugged on the hearts of every mother, every father. Pretty much it's affected the whole world. And that's what we got to deal with every day of our life, knowing that our nephew died in a horrible, miserable, humiliating way because of power and control and hatred.
As devastating as that video is, you've expressed thankfulness to Darnella Frazier for being brave, standing there and capturing it on her cell phone. Let's take a listen to some of her compelling testimony last week.
When I look at George Floyd, I look at my dad, I look at my brothers, I look at my cousins, my uncles, because they are all black. I have a black father, I have a black brother, I have black friends. And I look at that and I look at how that could have been one of them. It's been nights I stayed up apologizing and apologizing to George Floyd for not doing more and not physically interacting and not saving his life. But it's like, it's not what I should have done. It's what he should have done. He should have.
That's the answer. Thank you.
Okay.
Darnella was one of many bystanders that took the stand last week. Selwyn, is there anything that you would want to tell them now after watching their testimony?
Well, first of all, May the 26th, I reached out to Darnella Frazier. I've spoken with Darnella Frazier several times. I've met Darnella Frazier. I've interacted with Darnella Frazier. Darnella Frazier, to me, is a queen. She is one of the most courageous individuals that I've ever seen, that will ever see in my life, because for a 17-year-old young lady that was taking her cousin to that store to get a pop, to stand there and have that kind of guts and courage to take that video, you know, you can't write a movie script that would be more defined than that. She's something special. Darnella Frazier is the one that basically created this movement by her strength and being able to stand there and to show everybody that the way George died was not fair. The way that black people have been treated by police brutality has not been fair. And you know, I just totally praise Darnella Frazier. Every time I get a chance to interact with her, I just says, hey man, you are the boss. You are queen, dear. You know, because she went beyond the call of duty to make sure that she took care of my nephew the best she could. And without Darnella Frazier, there's no telling where we would be at, what would we be communicating about. Because reality is, a lot of people in this world just find my nephew is just another dead black dude, which he's not just another dead black dude, because he put us in a situation that the whole world can see how power and control, racism, and hatred evolve still.
Real quick, Selwyn, for those of people watching this trial, obviously don't know George Floyd the way that you knew George Floyd as your nephew, What do you want them to particularly be looking for in this trial moving forward?
Conviction. A conviction. We need to make sure the judicial system does what it's supposed to do. And that is to put criminals where they need to be. That is behind bars. I always remember that big smile of his. He was crazy, you know, funny, laughing, couldn't sing, couldn't dance, but he had a heart of gold. You know, like I said, we're all just old country folk from a little town called Goldsboro, North Carolina, and they moved to Houston, and we have a heart of gold. You know, we have a soul of gold. But unfortunately, with life, there come changes, there come complications, and there's decisions that he made, he probably could have, you know, made a better choice. But the matter at hand today is we need to take care of business, and we need for justice to prevail. We need the George Floyd Policing Act to be passed so we can get rid of qualified immunity. So it'll help Black people, white people, Asian people, Hispanic people slow down this epidemic that I call police brutality, because it's got to stop sooner or later, because nobody needs to sit in front of a camera and talk about the death of any family member because of somebody that was supposed to help them. Police's job is to de-escalate, not to escalate. Police's job is to save and to help, not to destroy and murder.
Thank you so much, Selwyn, for joining me. I know that you have to get to the courthouse again for week 2 underway at any moment, because live testimony is set to begin very, very soon. But first, the judge actually will rule on several important motions. The defense wants the full milestone video shown to the jury. Will the judge allow it? Stick with us. This is Court TV, your front row seat to justice.